Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. We have some more reaction content for you, and today we are checking out as much as we can about A Plague Tale Requiem. And literally like 5 minutes before filming this very video, we finished playing through A Plague Tale Innocence for the very first time. Played through it in its entirety. It was a really enjoyable experience. I had a couple problems here and there, minor nitpicks, but this isn't a review of Plague Tale Innocence. This is a reaction to the upcoming sequel, and I'm really, really curious what this is, right? Because having just finished the game, I was like, okay, that story feels mostly over. There, of course, is ways that they could keep going, but in terms of like the core of what the game was, it feels complete. And so I know the game did really well, so maybe they were like, yeah, let's make a sequel because we can make more money. But at the same time, I don't know what this is, where this is going, what the hook is on this one, and how they're going to do it in a way that feels genuine and not like just extra for the sake of there being extra. Especially because we get to see the build-up, progression, rise and fall of everything that happens across the first game. I'm going to be kind of spoiler-free on this as much as I can anyway. And so with it having this full journey of there is no, plague or rats or anything at the beginning of the game, and seeing what happens as that journey progresses and how it winds back down at the end, where does this go? Unless there's a new plague somewhere else. Now, exterminate roaches. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to start out with the official reveal trailer that was aired during E3 2021 last year. Then we'll go to the gameplay reveal from, I think it was like the Game Awards. Yeah, the Game Awards last year. And then into the stuff that happened over the Summer Games Festival here in 2022 for the Xbox Bethesda Showcase and the extended gameplay trailer. I have some other stuff like a hands-on preview with IGN as well as the devs talking. I don't know if we'll get to these just because they're both pretty long and we might not necessarily need them after we get through these other ones. So yeah, we'll just let's see, I guess. I'm really curious how this goes.
These things, where do they come from?
Very plaguey.
From all of us. From what we do to him.
Can you stop it?
I don't know. But he's my brother. And I would die for him.
Oh. Hey, we got a crossbow now. Hey, Hugo. Looking good, kid. If that's also captured in engine, you look a lot more polished in terms of compared to your model in the first game. I guess the problem of the blood plague essentially still is present, right? He's still got whatever the macula is. We don't know very much about it. Actually, we can see it creeping back onto his face right there. They mentioned the first threshold of the blood disease essentially. And so if there's one threshold, there must be more. But all right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So this is the gameplay reveal from the Game Awards 2021, December of last year.
Under the wide and starry sky.
Yeah, it's day one Game Pass, which is great. I'm stoked.
Dig the grave and let me lie.
Amicia, come.
Hugo, I'm right behind you.
That is more color than there was in the entire first game. The whole thing in that one shot.
And I laid me down with a will.
Impossible.
this be the verse you crave for me.
Come on, you've seen worse than this.
Here he lies, where he longed to be. Home is the sailor, home from sea, and the hunter, home from the hill.
Oh.
I don't know what's happening to me, Lucas. I feel my mind going.
I know. Think of your brother. We have to carry on.
Oh no.
They got a lot more money.
What have you done?
They got a lot more money between the last game and this one. I mean, I know that the Plague Tale Innocent sold pretty damn well, but they were given a lot bigger budget for this game. Like, the rats look better, the way they flow and move, the animations look better, the character models are better. Obviously, it's newer, right? But the sheer amount of a quality difference is astounding. It is astounding. Like, the first game looked really good. We just played it in full 4K, and it was a pretty good time. It looked really good. Some of the animations were a little jank. The faces kind of like, as long as they weren't talking, they looked all right. But the difference between having just left that game and this one is insane. It is mad. It is night and day. Quite literally, since most of the first game felt like it took place at night, and then now here we are. We're seeing a lot of daytime in this one. Focus and Direct is giving them everything for a flagship there. Yeah. Like, I mean, whew, they were like, hey, that people liked that. Would you like some more money? And everyone was like, yeah, sure. All right, so this is now moving into what's been revealed in the last, like, few weeks, this is called the End of Innocence trailer that was at the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase. So, continuing forward.
I'm sorry, Amicia. For Hugo.
He's not dead yet.
This says 4K, but it sure didn't feel like 4K. A lot more environments.
The is not just in Hugo's blood. It concerns everybody. And it can change everything.
So again, yeah, we're focusing on the macula, the blood demon stuff that we still just don't know very much about.
Remember, no more killing soldiers. No more killing us.
Wow, just the sheer difference in using an Ignifer.
Look out! There's a killer around here.
Oh.
One of our men has...
Oh, whoever cut this trailer, that was sick. Whoever cut this, that was cool. Good job.
been murdered.
I want to see it again. Hold on.
Look out!
That
There's
was
a killer around
sweet.
here. One of our men has been murdered.
You're only making it worse.
Amicia, don't!
I'm tired of being afraid. I'll show them that it's over.
Finally.
Holy shit, that was a big guy.
Nothing to be scared of. No!
You are not them.
What is wrong with me? Hugo.
Amicia!
Come on. Do it. Quick.
Do we get to control the rats like that? Oh my god. Holy shit. That gave me fucking chills, by the way.
Come on. Do it. Quick.
Is this right here a way that we can... Is this a gameplay mechanic right here where you're the swarm of rats? We can see him, right? We can see him. Is this gameplay? Because... We're finally seeing her come to terms with being a murderer. Right, and like, it's interesting because that's one of the things that we talked about while we were playing through the first game, is that because in the first game, it started out like that was going to be something that they wanted to talk about and focus on, was about the morality of having to kill to survive, about what you choose to do. Do you choose to sneak around and not kill anybody, or do you remove all of the obstacles in your path by whatever means necessary? And unfortunately, I'm guessing just because of budgetary reasons, they don't give that much more thought beyond them struggling with it, right? Whereas it looks like it is more of a focus here. Lucas is trying to convince Amicia to not be a vicious murderer, and then of course Amicia, who already like has committed a lot of murder, is like, this solves problems and solves them well. And I mean, there was also points in the first game where you can't get through places without killing people. You have to. There is no other solution. And so going into this one, it'll be interesting what type of approach that takes. It does give you an interesting viewpoint on Smalls and what they need to do to survive. I mean, that was one of the things that like was painful in the first game, is because everyone you play as is a child. And everyone that you become friends with is also a child, and everyone that you save and lose is a child. And it is one thing to be playing an adult that is making these adult decisions, and another thing to watch a child, which it doesn't matter the amount of trauma, right? A trauma can make people mature and make people be something more or less than what they are. But it doesn't change that you're a child, right? Because as a child, your brain is not developed all the way. You haven't had experiences that other people have had. And it's different to grasp and grapple with those types of scenarios, even as an adult, but even more so as a child, because of the way that you are developing, growing, and the impression, the amount that a child can be impressed upon. And so you see them grapple with that in a way that is different than an adult, because they're children. And they're still very much children in this second game, although Amicia was always the oldest in the first game, except for Roderick, I guess. They looked like they might have been about the same age. Some of us are adults and don't have fully developed brains. Yeah, you right. They couldn't give her an entire subplot in the first game. They couldn't. There was no... They could have, but it would have detracted, I think, from the main story, and they didn't have a lot of time, because the main game, the first game's only about 10 hours long. And I'm pretty sure it's mostly for budgetary reasons. They even had to reuse some environments. Again, I'm guessing largely for budgetary reasons. And that's fine, right? Like, it's understandable. We see a lot more environments, vastly different environments in this. We've seen deserts and grass fields and cities and sewers and a whole bunch of different areas in these trailers so far, which is great. And so it might mean that they can take more time to influence the characters in terms of the decisions that they make and the approaches that they take through this next chapter of A Plague Tale. I'm glad they didn't make the game drag on with extra stuff either. It'll also be interesting to me if they make your decisions matter, because I will let you know that your decisions don't matter at all in the first game. It doesn't matter if you choose to kill everybody or save as many people as possible. The game ends the same way. There's only one ending. And I'm curious if this game will have different endings based on Amicia's actions and what that causes her to do, how that causes her to act, and how that influences her younger brother, Hugo, because he's the one with the power, right? He's the one that can control the rats, as we just saw. She tells him, you need to do it because they're probably about to die in this scene right here, right? Like, they're both already on the ground, they're exhausted, she's hurt, and she says, do it quick. And he hits the ground. Actually, I think we can see. Yeah, there's a guard right here. And so he hits the ground, summons up a bunch of rats, and then the rats, come through and they do their thing. So I think too many devs add extra just for the sheer game hours. I agree, and that's one of the things that I like about A Plague Tale: Innocence, as well as Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, that they are AA games where they have this really high level of quality without needing to push 30, 40, 50 hours through it. So if you can control the rats, that's really, really cool. Okay, so this is a official extended gameplay trailer. We'll see how much of this we end up watching, because it is 12 minutes long. It's a lot.
Just close your eyes and imagine you're flying.
but I would like to see more.
Can we have a swing in our next home?
We'll find one with trees around it.
Oh, yes! Apple trees!
Hey, I've flown enough, I think. Should we go back?
Hugo barely even looks like the same kid. Like his hair looks like it's a different color.
Oh, hello. And welcome. You're new here.
Yes. Well, actually, we're a bit lost.
And where are you going? Not to Rome, I would assume.
No, we're looking for an island. It has 2 teeth, and there's a bird, and a small lake, and flowers.
It's probably an island with 2 large mountains. We were told you could help us find it.
The faces are a lot better.
But I have an old map of the Mediterranean Sea somewhere. Do you want to have a look?
Yes, thank you. That'll be perfect.
Good people!
What's going on?
We're looking for a boy and a girl. The girl has killed several soldiers. She's armed and dangerous. By order of Count Victor of Arles. We're searching this camp.
I know a guilty look when I see one. But whatever you've done, I won't give up a child. Come with me.
You know, I'm curious how they know that it was her at this point, because most of everyone else should be freaking dead from the first game. Someone must have survived. Oh, God. Ow.
Amicia!
My head.
Get up! You must leave!
Yes, yes. I'm dizzy. Your hand.
You're bleeding again!
Lord. Oh.
Amicia!
This looks really good.
Leave.
Yes. We have to keep moving.
Where are we?
Looks like a quarry.
We're going in there? It's dark.
I see loot boxes.
Know if there's another way.
Where are they?
Don't let's push inside. We must not stay in the open.
Didn't need those ribs after all, right? Ribs are overrated.
Stop, Amicia. There are people.
I hear nothing. How do you know?
I feel them. I think it's the rats. I can try to feel better.
You're sure about this?
Yes, don't worry.
Fine. Careful.
Yes.
You know, okay, so, like, I don't like this mechanic in games. I feel like it's overdone. I forget what it's called, right? The sensory vision, essentially. It was really, really popular for a long time. Witcher vision, is that what people were calling it? Witcher senses? Because I'm not sure if Witcher 3 was the first one that did it, but a lot of games started doing it. You started seeing it in, like, Arkham games. You started seeing it in, like, even, like, Dark Souls and stuff like that, where there was this pulse out from your character that then showed you things that you might not have noticed with your own eyes, right? Now, at least this one does give a reasonable explanation in that he is using the rats that are likely everywhere in the walls and the floors and the ground and stuff. Witcher 1 had it in the 2000s. Okay, so that's probably why it harkens all the way back to The Witcher from way back when of Witcher sense. And, like, even if you have a good explanation for it, it still feels lazy to me. Every time I've found a game that has it, I'm like, man, this just feels lazy. And I also don't like it because you end up using it a lot. Like, it's just something that is good to just use often, like as much as you feel is absolutely necessary. So you end up looking at, instead of looking at the game, you look at like colored paintings of characters or icons and stuff. And that's the thing that really bugs me, is it feels like you're scanning an environment and just getting back a data report from it, and you're now reading a data report instead of enjoying the environment. And that I'm disappointed to see it.
Hey, soldiers. Hold on. How? The rats. They can feel people's blood. Now I can too. It's like a noise. Like an echo.
So where are they?
Close. Coming. I can do it again if you want.
Got it.
Whoop, hold on. What's all in here? Hang on. Go back.
Coming. I can do it again if you want.
So we got the rock with sling, we got the crossbow. We can hold 2 pots now. Woo! We got the ignifer, we got the I can't remember what they called the thing that put fires out, the extinguinatus or something. And then I don't know what this one is. This is probably the acid that caused soldiers to remove their helmets. And then it looks like we got a lot of the very same materials that we had before. We have rocks, sulfur, saltpeter, alcohol, and episagnus. And then we got a couple things down here, a knife and a rock. Okay.
Got it. Let's go. Careful.
Where are the workers? This mine isn't abandoned, is it? I don't start your bloody superstitions.
It's the captain you should be afraid of. The girl pissed him off worse than 1,000 Englishmen.
You're not gonna stop and loot that box? Hell's wrong with you? Yeah, see, they're using it so much, and it's unfortunate because you didn't have it in the first game, and it sometimes was unfortunate because you turn a corner, you're like, fuck, there's a dude there, right? That was unfortunate, but you always, like, because the game had very little penalty for dying, you just got set back a little ways. It was a matter of learning how to get through it rather than Witcher sensing your way through the entire series.
Are they a threat? Are they coming out?
No.
Ratavision!
For now.
Stay focused on them.
That girl.
Yeah, see, again, using it again and again. And like it I understand why, but I really wish you could have done it, like, all of these situations, you could have just snuck around and not used it. And absolutely, that is an option of just not using it. But at the same time, it's really hard to not use really good tools that are provided to you, right? It's a really long fall. Maybe people complained it was too hard in development and testing. Yeah, I don't know. We don't know what the journey was to making this game. And like, I'm sure it'll still be a good game. I just feel like had that mechanic been in the first game, it wouldn't have felt like such an immersive experience that it was, because the mechanic is almost silly feeling in every game that it's in, even if they have a good explanation for why you have that ability, right? But it always feels so gamey. And like, obviously it's a video game, but some video games are wildly immersive. They are fantastic and you can just lose yourself in them. And mechanics like this, I feel, often take away from that.
We can make it.
Yes, then you'll rest.
We don't know what happened to Amicia's head. I mean, she obviously has a concussion. Ow! Nobody heard that?
Be careful. You're too tired.
Don't worry.
that sound? What's happening?
Wonder if she's sick with the plague? Well, you know, on the idea here also is that she's still his brother. So she has the blood as well. He's the carrier of the macula, but we don't know if that doesn't necessarily mean that there's something involved in her brain as well. We also had like this weird, crazy, like nightmare in the first game, right? Like the idea also there was probably that she, you know, she slipped and fell while she was trying to find her brother. She hit her head and was knocked out for 3 days, which could be part of the same problem that's happening here, especially because if you did get a concussion in the 1300s, it's not like you're really going to barely know what it is or how to treat it. Maybe we did, but I mean, brain science I don't feel is something that we were really good at. Even really today, we're still struggling with it, right? Because it's hard to work on brains. And so, you know, it could be that she's still suffering a concussion from that. It could be that there is the, you know, the macula in her blood that's causing something. It could be a combination of both. Don't know. Well, it's very clear that she has no qualms with killing anybody. Are you, come on, I know you're showcasing gameplay, but loot the goddamn box.
It's them! They did this! I better have a look over there.
Why didn't you just throw a rock at him? Is she out of rocks? They haven't implemented looting for boxes yet. This game comes out in like 3 months. Okay, so you're able to mix things now. Like she put an extinguiness in the pot, which caused like a smoke cloud. And I think she put an ignifer in one earlier, which created the fire pot that she lit the soldier on fire with. So that's cool. There's at least some new combinations and stuff. So not only do you have the new tool in the form of the crossbow, but you have new tools in the form of being able to create like new tools, essentially.
You have to handle it yourself.
Are you sure?
Do it. Quick.
Yep, you get to control the rats. That is awesome and horrifying.
Keep control. You go.
Be careful. You're too tired.
Don't worry.
That is, yeah, Athena, that sounds like, man, that's cool, but awful.
Hugo?
I love and hate it.
What's wrong?
Take the stairs to the right? Or is this where this video ends? It's where it ends. Okay. I don't feel the need to watch these. I don't normally like IGN's hands-on previews, but sometimes they're the only thing you want. And this one is the devs talking, which sometimes can be good, sometimes can be bad, but I don't need to watch it right now. It's something that I'll probably put on my own time, but I don't think it's something that we need to do necessarily for this reaction to this video. I wouldn't mind the Ratavision if it was limited to that and that only. That's fair, Eve. That's fair. If it was strictly when you got to control the rats, you had that extra sight, that would be cool. That would be fine. But alas, that we are not the ones making the game. I do wonder how often you'll be able to control the rats like that, because that was a very scripted and, like, moment that was crafted for that. Obviously, we saw, like, the little nets that they were able to climb up to get to the next level so you can get to those 3 guys, but I don't know how often you'll get to do that as a mechanic. It's neat, it's cool, it's scary, it's horrifying, but it's cool. Yeah. And I do see now how this is still going, because at the end of the first game, there were some loose ends, but they didn't feel super important, I guess is the way that I would describe them. Because when it comes to, like, the blood stuff, it was supposed to be that, like, one, that he had gotten through one of his trials, he had been given an elixir that was supposed to keep it from killing him, which it seemed to succeed in doing so. There was somebody else that was trying to do the same thing that was evil. You stop the person who's evil, and then everything seems largely hunky-dory. The people that you can save, you do. They need time to recover. We didn't see them at all in this, but, you know, that's fine. And it was like, all right, and then they continue on, and people get better, and so on and so forth, right? I see how they're keeping it moving forward. Although, one of the things that I am noticing going through, especially that extended gameplay trailer, is that one of the things that the first game had was a sense of dread to it, and I realized that they're even aware of this. This trailer right here that was at the game showcase is called the End of Innocence trailer, and I guess that's one of the things that is very obvious to me watching this, as just coming from the first game, is that innocence is lost, innocence is gone. There is very little fear in this second game, right? There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of hiding, a lot of sneaking. There was a lot of, how are we going to get through this? Not because, how do I kill all of them? It was a dire situation. And now that there still is the direness of, like, you're being pursued by soldiers and you're dealing with, like, a head wound and, like, demons in your blood. But it's not the same kind of direness. It's a level of seriousness that is more about tackling the next challenge rather than rising to be able to tackle a challenge at all. And it's going to make for a very different tone of game. I talked earlier about how there was the conflict of Amicia being able to kill somebody if she needed to. It was a major, like, point that she, like, had to, like, choke down, essentially, because, like, you just killed a person, right? That's gone now. And there's a small voice of reason that we see in these trailers of, like, Lucas trying to be that person that tries to keep her grounded so she doesn't just become, like, something that she doesn't want to be, in the form of, I just kill people to do what I want and to get where I need to go. But that is lost. It is the End of Innocence, so that's a very appropriately named trailer. But it, like I said, it does mean that going into the second game, the overall tone of the game is going to feel ultimately extremely different, because you are much more battle ready. You're much more equipped. You are pushing forward with steel rather than with, you know, a whisper, essentially. It's just another example on how children are changed because of the surrounding environment. Right, and they had to. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make it better, but there is cause, reason, and explanation for it. So, I have a feeling that this series is, if it doesn't end with Requiem, like, I have a feeling that this game might be a trilogy. Just kind of getting that feeling, right? That unless A Plague Tale Requiem is longer than I'm expecting it to be, unless it's a much more sizable game, I feel like this franchise is looking to be a trilogy, and I feel like it's going to end not super positive, not even bittersweet, right? Like, in a defeated, it's over. Like, finally it's over, and not even we can smile at the sun, it's over, of it's just finally over. and you just kind of have to look back at the literal horde of bodies and fields of destruction that were wrought to get to the end. And it's gonna suck, and I'm probably gonna cry. I'm almost about to cry just thinking about it. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. The world is fucked. Bye. Yeah, anyway. So what did you think about A Plague Tale Requiem? If you played through A Plague Tale Innocence, what did you think about the first game, and how do you feel going from the first game into the second game? I'd love to hear from you. Please leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to keep the conversation elsewhere, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. And speaking of Discord, we actually have a channel dedicated to these reactions where you can place links of your own that we can check out together live on stream, because we do stream 4 days a week: Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. And I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do go watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.